Hello, Adam Bell here. I've been asked to explain what VPN is. Everyone's heard the acronym, but they don't necessarily know what it means, other than they should be doing it and it's meant to keep their computer safe. So VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. A virtual private network is a private tunnel that is used to encrypt data between one location and another, typically two different networks. Ironically, not ironically, a fact of the matter is when people refer to the dark web, that's really what they're talking about. Is the dark web is just a number of servers and computers that are storing data that the only way to get to them is to get a private network connection to the dark web. So that's a totally different conversation. So, forget that for now. But anyway, so the virtual private network is to connect two different networks together with a secure encrypted tunnel to allow the communication to flow back and forth without being grabbed or seen or intercepted by somebody in the middle. Now, a standard, and what do you mean by somebody in the middle? So, I'll try to keep this high level, but a TCP/IP communication, sorry for the long acronym, that happens between one computer to another that is not encrypted. Has a whole bunch of chatter and a whole bunch of text in there. There's a bunch of text that means nothing, but if you can look at it, you can see this is start, this is the finish, but in the middle, this is the message that's been sent back and forth. If you want to grab that information, all you have to do is sit there and listen. So somebody could technically sit and listen at certain points in the network, in any network, well, not any network, in a unsecured network, and listen to traffic back and forth and be able to read all of the content that's happening in a communication from one computer to another. So that's why this is important. And there's a phrase in our industry called security by obscurity, meaning I don't care if my communication from this computer to that computer is not encrypted because nobody wants to get my information. Well, that's just not true, and it's not a good way to do safe computing. So, another rabbit trail we won't cover. so web pages, so a VPN, the heart of it is encryption. It's encrypted communication from one computer to a server or one computer to another computer. So another huge encryption right now, which is not VPN but is encryption. I mean, you could argue it is VPN, is web pages that are secured. So web pages use the HTTPS, and if you look up in the top corner, you'll see a lock that is good, and now, or it is green, depending on the browser. But like mine just shows a little gray lock beside the URL in Chrome. But in other browsers, if you are going to a website that is not secure, then it will let you know it's not a secure site and have a big red icon up there along the lock. So HTTPS is using a secure socket layer, certificate. And what it does, it has a certificate between the browser and the server, and then it creates an encrypted communication back and forth so that all of that communication from one website to the server is secure. Now, so you may think that if you're in Gmail or any webmail, you look up there and you look in the email and it says it's secure. So you may think that if you're sending an email, it's secure. That's not true, because email uses a totally different protocol. Now, when you're conducting your email and when you create your email and when you hit save, all of that communication was secure. Between you and the server, that was secure and that was encrypted. But as soon as it gets sent, it leaves the server using a totally different protocol called SMTP, which is another one we're not going to talk about. But it is a plain text protocol that goes from server to server. Now, there are servers that will send completely encrypted emails, but when you're switching from one vendor to another, like if you're going from Gmail to an Office 365 or Gmail to a corporate, as soon as it hits the internet, that email message is clear and open text, and anybody could read it if they could capture it along the way. To cover where a list of places where encryption is used. Secure messaging, that's a secure portal for sending messages to somebody and then they go read it, which is not email. Websites with a lock icon, so all websites are being encouraged to use SSL certificates and keeping those encrypted. Your voice over IP phones should be encrypted. They don't have to be. I mean, they don't technically have to be, but they should be at this point. Your VPN client, so the client installed on your computer for work. Remote desktop, if you use remote desktop protocol, and other secure access programs are using encryption there. And of course, there are more. So there are a few downsides to VPN. One is that there is overhead. So an encrypted tunnel from one place to another does have overhead associated with every single packet being encapsulated by this protecting tunnel. But in this day of our bandwidth, that little bit of slowdown is worth the slowdown for the safety. So we don't get too concerned about that. However, users often experience with an environment that is an IT environment that's very conscious of security, they will encrypt all traffic from that computer to their servers. Now that means you get on your VPN, or you get on your computer, you connect your VPN, all of a sudden your internet browsing is extremely slow. The reason that is because all of your traffic from your computer is being sent from your computer to the corporate server and the internet there. So if you want to do internet browsing that is not associated with work, or even if it is work associated but it doesn't require the VPN tunnel for secure access of files and things, drop the tunnel, turn the tunnel off, and then you can browse the internet locally from your ISP. And when you need to get back on the internet or on the intranet or the LAN files of your office, turn that VPN tunnel back on. So that'll get you back on the network. You'll be back secure, communicating with your server. If everything you have to do has to be in the office and there's no way around it, that's just the hassle of security can sometimes slow it down. So remember to keep things safe, keep them encrypted, and hopefully you know a little bit more about what VPN is. Thanks.